Brad Krauskopf, on the other hand, is the founder and chief executive of Third Spaces. You heard Martin mention Brad and talking about whether or not he would be able to explain a little bit more about the business side of this, and I think that's what we're all looking forward to.
Great, thanks. And sorry about my late entrance there. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the business case. I'm going to start up at 10,000 feet. So in the 20th century, it was the countries and the companies that were able to leverage financial capital that ended up being successful. In the 21st century, it's going to be the countries and the companies that can mobilise their social capital that are going to be the wealthy ones. So to connect that there, Martin used the word connectedness, I use the word social capital. So that's one chunk there, and when I look at Australia and we think about, well, what is that, what can we do, what is that productivity lever that we haven't pulled yet, I'd look at our rankings on collaboration globally and how low we are. And when I think about, well, what's the next boom that we should have, I think that we should be looking at how do we have a collaboration boom and how do we leverage that knowledge capital that's here in Australia. Another 10,000 foot view. A couple of weeks back, a couple of my good friends had a daughter. Her birth was announced on Facebook, and she had a Twitter address from the day that she was born, and the description on her Twitter address said, "I'm going to go on to achieve impossible things." Now, if you know her parents, there's a good chance this young lady probably will. We didn't talk a lot here about the mobility of talent. We talk always about the mobility of technology, but the mobility of talent. The people that have got born now, when they go into the workforce and the leaders that we're going to be trying to attract, they've been hardwired, or should I say unwired, since birth in a many-to-many ideas of the hierarchy, open society. Now, if they've got a manager that they don't like, they'll find a new one. If they got an organisation they don't like, they'll find a new one. If they don't like the city that they're in, they'll find a new one. Okay, you'll have this huge mobility of people moving everywhere, and it's how we actually connect that. That's how we're going to create wealth, and that's how we're going to create really successful businesses. Now, drilling a little bit further down, I've been lucky enough in my role with Third Spaces and with co-working to go around the world and look at smart work centres and co-working in all these different countries. And I can't for the life of me think of a country where you could make a better business case for a national network of smart work hubs. You build a road in Europe for 300 kilometres, you pass 30 million people. Here in Australia, you pass 30,000 people, for example. You get the picture. And that's just to start with the roads. When we look at, well, how could we actually make this national network of smart work centres happen? I recently worked with and commissioned Gordon Noble to help me write a paper. Some of you may remember at the Telework conference last year, he presented about how super industry could be investing in a national network from an infrastructure investment perspective, and it was probably a bit of a better idea than investing in toll roads. Now, we just finished up this study, and essentially we're borrowing the business model from co-working. Around the globe now, this is not a new thing. It's been going for 6, 7, 8 years. Essentially, the essence of the business model is that rather than selling square metres, you sell time. You chop up the time. That allows you, through collaborative consumption, to have a great deal more people using the same amount of space. And we believe that it's that business model that can actually unleash a national network of smart work centres. When we've done the math on it, 1,000 metre squared co-working or smart work hub will provide the opportunity for 1,000 people per week to work from that work hub. So for 1 day a week, take that person off the road, let them work closer to home, and it costs us $1 million to run that facility. So we can provide that spot for $20 a day. Just to throw a quick comparison there, $14,000 is often a figure that is used to allocate for a staff person per year to provide that facility. Do the math on that, it works out at $56 per day for 250 days a year. I know that my train ticket from Newcastle on Tuesday was $8.60, I think, one way and the way back. So that'd already be $16 of having that person there. And then we haven't talked about the lease costs that could be saved by the company in the city. We haven't talked about the economic effect of people spending their dollars locally in their town and then creating employment opportunities in their local area rather than that money being spent in the city. And then we could get into all these things from productivity to work-life balance to that it was just simply better for society because you were working closer to your home and to your family. So when we look at this business model, we see that you can actually provide something in a very effective manner at an affordable rate that can actually unleash a national network of smart work centres. And when we look at the century that we're heading into, this could end up being a key infrastructure that enables us to have a wealthy 21st century like we did a wealthy 20th century. Thank you.